only takes 4 hours and 10 minutes then on a Saturday, right?
It can be close to 4 on a Saturday. On a weekday when nobody's out there, about 3.5.
Oh, okay.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, April 26th Board of Selectmen's meeting. We're going to start with citizens' input. I don't think we have anyone here. Anything in the box? Nope.
Flag.
Okay. All right, flag. Docs always remind me of the flag. I always just jumping right to it. So we're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, great. So up first, we have a change of manager application for Foxborough Country Club. So Julie and Lou, if you don't mind just coming up to the hot seat. Tell us a little bit about, I know you've been here before over this, but we understand, at least I understand the challenges, with staffing and everything.
Yeah, so we definitely had, I'm going to run through just the history. I know, so we didn't have a club business manager during COVID, so we did not have that. We had it in the name of John Gray during that time period. And then we made we had it in the name of sort of a club in John Gray once we hired the club business manager last summer, Ty, we put it in his name, and then circumstances beyond our control. It was a number of items, but he found a place closer to home and something that fit his. He coaches baseball, which was one of the conflicts that he had. He didn't think he could coach baseball, which was his love, and also work at the club during our hours, especially on Fridays, would be a conflict. So he resigned and moved to a position that allowed him to continue to coach baseball. So
Did he not know he coached baseball when he took the job?
He knew he coached baseball. I think he thought he could make it work.
Yeah.
He lived a little further away too, from what I remember, right?
He was about a good 50-minute ride through Providence. So this is Julie. So she's our club business manager. We just hired her back in March. She has a pedigree coming from a number of establishments in Boston. I don't know if you want to give a little bit of your history.
Yeah, I've been a general manager for over 10 years. Two main ones, Brandy Pete's Financial District, downtown Boston. I was there 5 years, went to the Bell in Hand, which is tourist by day, nightclub by night. Mm-hmm. It was pretty interesting. And then I went back to Brandy Pete's, where I stayed another 5 years. So collectively, it's been, over 10 years of GM. And I have all the TIP certified, I'm CPS certified. I am crowd manager certified, but I don't think they even require that anymore. But in the nightclub, you had to be crowd manager certified. So I've gone through all of that training.
So slightly different with our crowd. We're not quite a nightclub, thankfully.
Yes, thankfully.
But she does live right in Walpole, which is nearby, which is helpful. So that was definitely one of our ideal criteria, was to have somebody that we felt would be, logistically able to get back and forth to the club and not have that be a burden. So, as well as experience, obviously GM experience was also high on our list. So,
And I know for me, there's been some talk about, does it go in a member's name? And, they are just a member. They're not there all the time. So I like the idea personally. I know it can be a challenge at times, but to have it in the name of a professional staff that is there and, does this kind of for a living and has the experience. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, yeah, it's in mine.
Motion to approve a change of manager for Foxborough Country Club from Ty Cosgrove to Julie McGonigal.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Right.
All right,
luck.
thanks, guys.
Easy
Thank
enough.
you.
Good luck.
Appreciate your time.
thank you.
All right.
Good luck.
Great night.
Season too.
All right, good to see you. All right.
Good if it gets you.
Yeah, that's right. No.
It's gonna come.
It's tired of wearing jackets.
Good night, thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, so up next, we have the Commons. Do we know if anyone's coming from the Commons?
I doubt they are.
Probably not. They did it last year. But this one does have to come before us. So Bill has approved some outdoor dining already for Union Straw and Skipjacks. Those are on private property, so he can just approve those, whereas the Commons Eatery does want to make use of the public way, which is why, the difference of why this particular one comes to us. So we do have an application in front of us from the Commons. The abutters did get notice. I think that there were, Paige, I'll let you speak to some of the concerns that they wanted to just make sure we're covered, that we discussed before we look at this and approve it.
Yes, so I'm Paige Duncan, Planning Director. As you know, for the past 2 summers, we have been able to accommodate the Commons request. Based on the advice of the new health director, last year we switched to more seating on the alley than in the front. The first year, it was a little tight with handicap accessibility, but more importantly, from Matt Brennan's point of view, you need a certain amount of clearance from the doorways. So that's how we ended up with more tables in the alley. The one request from Foxboro Cable Access, or Margaret at Foxboro Cable Access, was to suggest that the tables be pushed to the wall of the Commons. I think at some points last year, they might have been more in the middle, and she was pointing out that it made traversing that alley difficult. So I don't think that's a problem. We could just add that as a condition. So for right now, we're showing up to 4. I'm not sure, I don't know if anybody can see this, but I'm not sure that they would end up with 4. We just kind of put the 2 in the front. Last year, I don't recall that they even had 2
I
going.
think there was 4, wasn't there 4 in the front?
The first year.
First
Yeah.
year.
First year, and then they roped it off.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what, this gives them some flexibility. Obviously, we continue to work with them. The handicap accessibility is key, and now we want to, make sure that there's clearance in the alley. But other than that, we've had it be well received. As you know, they don't serve alcohol, so it's really more of a morning lunch crowd. And I know folks have really enjoyed sort of watching the town go by on weekend mornings when they could sit out there, so.
And since we just toured the local alleys recently, it is one of the more passable alleys, so it is good that the tables are kind of pushed up. I like the idea of pushing them all the way to the building, just to
Yeah.
allow for accessibility.
And someday we hope to improve that alley, like improve the treatment, the floor, the pavement and whatnot. But for right now, it's passable, and we'll make do. But it would be nice eventually to have that be more of an amenity for all of us.
All right, so I don't have any questions. Anyone else have any questions on this one? All right, so we'll take a motion, then we'll come back to Paige.
Motion to approve a temporary outdoor dining permit for the Commons Neighborhood Eatery.
Any further discussion?
I'll second it with a thought of, do we have to add pushing the tables
Yes.
as part of the motion, or
I think
just,
it's in the application, right?
Well, you could just add that as a condition in your motion. I
Okay.
just
Okay.
do that.
With the condition that,
Motion to approve a temporary outdoor dining permit for the Commons Neighborhood Eatery with the condition that the tables are moved up against the
comments.
facility,
Common
Commons building.
second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then I asked Paige while we had her here, obviously last year, we made outdoor dining permanent instead of temporary. So when we talked this year, we said, do we want everyone to have to go through the permanent process, or since the laws right now are still allowing for temporary outdoor dining, we thought it made sense, and it was the easiest for the businesses that are still kind of recouping to go through this easier process. But just a reminder to everyone and all the businesses that, if this were to end for next year, we do allow permanent outdoor dining now. So I just wanted Paige to come in and give a quick little rundown on what a business would need to do, thinking ahead, thinking early, for the future.
Sure. So we did approve at last November's town meeting an amendment. We created a new 7.6 of the zoning bylaw, and that allows outdoor premises by restaurants. So basically, it's a site plan review process for the planning board. So it is a formal process. There is an application fee, and some plans have to be done. Of course, that might be something we want to take a look at the planning board level of maybe we don't. The plans that we see for temporary outdoor dining are really just sketches, whereas site plan requirements tend to be, engineered, stamped. So that's something we might have to take a look at for standards, because I don't know that we're going to require that level. But again, if you are adding a permanent fence or some sort of permanent improvement, it would need to be surveyed and done correctly. So that's something to be worked out. But I would suggest that, a couple months prior to, at a minimum, schedules get busy, that, around the turn of the new calendar year, businesses might want to start thinking about talking to me and coming up with a site plan and an application to do it. And basically, the planning board will review it. It's similar to what we do now. It'd be looked at by the Board of Health, the building commissioner, police and fire. The plans have to show what we see now, which is basically the location of the dining area, the restaurant, some setbacks, points of egress, handicap accessibility, landscaping, planting, traffic, et cetera. So, that's basically the process it will be. It will be more stringent than it is now. Right now, it is very informal. You know, I mean, we allow sketches, and it really, it's, and the key thing I should caution here, and Katie would know better than me on this one, but the ABCC is the holdup here. So it's not gonna be the planning board. If a business or a restaurant wants to serve alcohol, I believe it's like a 6-month lead time. I don't know if folks here know, but I believe it's a 6-month lead time, because ABCC has to come out and do a site visit, so. Not to throw you on the spot, Katie, but is that consistent to what we're hearing?
Nope, you're right. And then once it goes in front of the board, it's like another 6 to 8 weeks before they would even approve it.
Okay.
Like once we get
So
the,
maybe
once
we should put together
the board
some sort
approves
of,
it here, then it
like
would
a
go back
guide almost?
to
I don't know.
the ABCC, so.
Okay.
maybe we should put, you know how we just have put together the guide for like the new restaurants? just to
Well, we
make
haven't
sure-
quite put that together
Or,
yet.
I know that's on your,
Turns out
that's
it's
on your radar.
a lot more difficult than you would think. No wonder people are having trouble with it.
Right. But once, you know, maybe once things calm down, if you have a minute to breathe, it might be good just to lay something out, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page.
No, that's a good point. And now,
Restaurants.
and I correct myself because I said, you know, maybe around the turn of the calendar year, but if they wait till January 1,
Right.
and then talking about a 6+ month process, they'd be in the middle of summer.
And the
So-
state could rescind this on short notice, so.
They
you know,
really need to
it's
be
something
ready.
really think
Yeah,
about
I
for
think the
businesses.
deadline for them to renew this is next March, April?
Yeah, yeah.
But if they don't renew it, it's
Right.
gonna come really
And I-
fast
and
for these
My sense is
businesses.
they're probably not gonna do it this time.
And the sad thing is, we won't know, because this year, I mean, if you recall, it was down to the wire. So, I mean, it was like, I think expiring April 1st, and they did it late March. So the problem is, the businesses are just not gonna know until March or April next year, probably, unless they come out and say, we're not doing it.
Yeah, and
So, yeah, so I will make a note that in the fall, maybe we just outreach and say, listen, we're not expecting this to happen, just a reminder, and just sort of, I can work with Katie on the ABCC stuff, because that really is gonna be the stranglehold. But, you know, obviously, planning can get difficult if we've got, you know, we've had 17 outdoor dining establishments, so if they all
Right.
wanted to do this, you know, at the same time frame, we would be busier and a little harder to accommodate. I doubt we would see that many, but you
Yeah,
don't know.
but it's worked, it's been successful, so.
yeah,
Yes.
Right, you're really talking September, October,
Yeah,
starting to look into it if they want to,
I'd say even earlier than that. I'm
maybe
thinking-
even earlier, yeah.
yeah, like right when we get through summer, it's almost like you go right into, I know you don't want to think about it, but you know, if you want a liquor, if you have a liquor license, then,
For them, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we just wanted to kind of be proactive and get a PSA out there, just reminding everyone that it's permanent and, you know, the future thoughts.
yeah,
Okay? All
thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Paige.
Question, Paige, sorry. You mentioned fences and permanent structures. Does that imply that a business could build a permanent private structure on public land, or
No,
No.
everything on public land is temporary stuff, right?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Like
This,
when you go to Conrad's, theirs is like approved and
Right.
permanent. So restaurants making something permanent, like, I'm just using an example, like, let's say the 99 on private land wanted to do something.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, on the sidewalk, it's
Right, like the
movable
commons
tables
couldn't
and
put up-
chairs, and
yeah.
that's it, right? Or flower baskets you can
Right.
pick up and, okay.
anything, I mean, anything that would have to go on public land would have to come through this. We don't contemplate it really too much here, but anything that, you know, if, say, the Commons wanted to do something more permanent, they'd start here. So it'd be with you guys, but that's not really what this is about.
Okay. Got
So,
it.
yeah, we don't anticipate planters and whatnot in the alley, unless they want to do it, you know, to pretty it up,
Make it
just to
nice,
get it
yeah.
attractive, but yeah.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paige.
All right, great. You guys are up next, so we're going to introduce the new library director, Libby O'Neill, and give a brief update on the Boyden Library. Welcome. You guys can just introduce yourself to everyone at home and
Sure. Good evening. I'm Colin Ernst. I serve as chair of the Board of Trustees of the Boyden Library.
I'm Libby O'Neill, the new library director of the Boyden Library.
welcome.
I'm delighted to be here to introduce Libby to the community and to the select board. Libby joined us in late March after a rigorous search process that Mike helped us lead. And as you may know, the prior director, Manny Leet, left in January to pursue some new life opportunities in Tennessee, and he's doing great. And we were really fortunate to have Libby come and be our new director. She was the unanimous choice of our screening committee and the unanimous choice of our board of trustees. And I'm going to let her do the rest of the intro. We're so glad to have her, and she's the star of the show. So,
Okay. Yes, I've been the director for a couple weeks now. Just starting to get my feel for the library, the community. I've met with a lot of the department heads. I've sent out questionnaires to my staff asking, how the library excels, some improvements. We've talked about professional development and how I can help them as a manager. And then I've met with them all on one-on-one, and we've continued those conversations. And I'm just trying to learn all I can. And, then my biggest thing that I like to focus on, along with connecting with the community, is programs and outreach. So once I can sort of get my footing, I'm trying to jot down all the ideas that I can start implementing.
Great. And I see you have some meet and greets coming up, right? Did I see?
I do,
a couple
yes.
of those coming up for citizens?
Yes, a couple in May, and it's just a drop in, get to know you, and I'm welcoming any feedback, suggestions for the library, and I'm also then also on the calendar starting a book club. And I'm also partnering with Mark Craig at the Council on Aging and assisting to lead their book club. So starting to get some things going.
Wonderful. Any questions?
Did you like red or white at the book club, or just bring your own, or how does that work?
They have picked a selection, so I'm trying to quickly read that.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Right.
And
No podcasts allowed, right?
no,
Happens
but
at the book club, stays at the book club.
Right.
no broadcast of that. But yeah, we'll see. And then once I do establish a book club at the library, which I've gotten a lot of feedback from the staff, is what patrons have been asking for. So that's like my first order of business for programming. I will be asking everyone at the book club that joins what they would like to read, and then we'll go forward with that.
I love to see you collaborating with other departments already, so that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's part of why she was recommended by the screening committee, and at a big a large part of why the trustees voted unanimously to bring her in. And if I could say a few more words, it was a pleasure working with the board of trustees, and we had actually a great selection of folks who came in, who we screened and then interviewed some really terrific folks. And Libby just rose head and shoulders above the rest with her experience, with her energy, her motivation, her these programs, and I want to do this, and I mean, she has so much energy. We are excited, and I'll say we just finished negotiations with the library union, and we got a thumbs up unanimously from across the table saying we love our new director. Libby is great. So from all around, great kudos.
Sounds like we're lucky to have you. So welcome aboard.
I'm sure. I know that the town administrator from Norfolk kicked me under the table last time I saw her, because you went there. So, but actually, Libby has a connection to our building commissioner too, where she worked in Marion at one point, at Tabor Academy, right? Where Scott came from, was and worked in Marion for a number of years, and they crossed paths a few times over there. So, she already has some connection to the staff over here as well. But we're really excited about the energy you bring, and as well as the connections you're already making and establishing. I'm really grateful for all the help that the department heads have made themselves available to you. And want to thank Colin and the trustees for a great process and yielding a very good result. So thank you.
Appreciate the support, and what we as a board of trustees strive to do is make the library a resource and a center for the community. So all feel welcome, and there's resources and programming and space for them. And that was central to our screening process and the questions that the team asked. And again, Libby embodied all of those priorities for us so well in her experience and her mindset. Now she's approaching things community-centric and staff-centric and programming to serve those constituencies. So we're just so thrilled and look forward to great things.
Wonderful. All right, thanks so much.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a good one.
You too. Have a good night.
Have a great night.
All right, so we're going to move into assistant town manager, and then selectmen's update. We have a number of items, good discussion within here, so I'll let you start, Mike, and then, when Mike's through, Bill can head right into your update.
Okay.
Try to keep the love fest going, Mike. That was
Right?
a lot of
Yeah, there we go.
Positivity there, so let's keep it up.
So I thought I had attached, and I apologize because I don't see it now, the recruitment report.
I see it now.
Okay.
I see it here.
Because I don't, so I'm looking at I have my paper copy here, so I'll read from that. So we've been very busy in the, posting, interviewing, and hiring department, mostly with summer recreational positions, to be honest. We've hired a head counselor, 3 recreation counselors, 3 junior recreation counselors, 4 lifeguards, and in addition to that, 2 library pages. And we have a bunch of recruitments in process that have been going on for a while. I will say that this is a challenging time to recruit and hire staff. It really is, and we're not seeing it get easier. We have had a couple of our pages move on, and pages don't generally stay for a long time. They have high school students in general. They don't have to be, but we've had a couple of terrific pages, move on to other things, and so we've hired 2 new ones, and we're still looking for more. One thing that you will see, hopefully by the beginning of the summer, is that we're going to take a look at the wages for our library pages, as well as our seasonal summer laborer position over at DPW. We were able to address our recreational positions because we needed to really get a step up on recruiting those early. But we're actually working on comps right now for the pages and library and laborer position, the seasonal one. We want to make sure we're comparable. As a municipality, we are exempt from paying state minimum wage, and we normally have been below minimum wage, which has not hurt us. But we're at a point where we need to raise the bar a little bit, and so we're in the process of doing that. So the DPW director and the library director are working with me on getting comparables on those, and I'll bring that to the personnel board, and we'll get that up to where it should be so we can continue to hire great people.
That's important, so, wonderful. Been busy with summer stuff.
Great.
Yeah,
You good?
but, yeah.
Okay, excellent. So, just a few things for you. I did copy the board on a letter that I sent to Congressman Auchincloss today, requesting some funding for a community project funding for Route 1 sewer design. So we're looking at trying to get some money to look at the initial design and see where that planning process takes us. There's an initial investment to do this. Well, a major investment would be some of the order of $25 to $30 million to do this project. But you can't really do any of that until you have a good handle on what the design would be. And so Congressman Auchincloss has mentioned to me, and his staff have mentioned to me, that this has a regional implication, so therefore it has some real appeal at his level to try and get funding for this. So this is just the very initial stage of looking and planning for an improvement that has been badly needed for so many years. So this would actually provide impact from communities from Plainville all the way up to Walpole along Route 1. Of course, impacting Foxborough in a significant way as well. So we certainly hope that it will be successful. There's about a $400,000 request in for that design phase. I want to thank Chris Gallagher and Lance Del Priore for helping to pull that information together at really short notice to get that request before Congress. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed and see what happens with that. I had one property permit and that was for the Rotary Peace Day program, scheduled for September 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. And that will be on the Common to be used to support.
Is that the 25th or the 17th? The application says the 25th.
I have the 17th, but expires on the 25th.
Oh, expires. Sorry
on the
about
25th.
that.
Yeah, and there's a rain date of the 24th in case that's needed. So that will be to help celebrate Peace Day, the United Nations Peace Day in Foxborough. And then as far as outdoor dining approvals, we've approved Union Straw and Skipjacks already for outdoor dining capabilities, consistent with the conversation we had earlier tonight. So that's where we're at. We did have a meeting this afternoon to prepare for town meeting, and had an action come out of it. Do you want me to get into that, or?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get into it, you can kind of lay the groundwork, and then I'll tell you guys what I think we should do.
So we went through all 22 articles for town meeting, and had town council here, Frank Spillane, Bob Cutler, we had George, myself, Leah, and Mike, of course. We all went through the warrant just to make sure we're ready for the town meeting, and which is actually a week from this coming Monday. And we, by and large, we're fine with everything that's on there, but there were a few questions about, the quantum of vote that's needed for some articles, and then we got to an article, I think it was Article 19,
19,
if I'm
the
not
select board
mistaken,
one.
which was the article for us to change the name from Selectmen to Select Board. And this is an interesting article because it covers both bylaw as well as zoning bylaw, and as such would require a 2/3 majority vote because it covers, it's affected in the bylaw, in the zoning bylaw, which, by the way, also requires a public hearing, which we all looked at each other, did anybody do the public hearing? And the answer was no, we did not. So there was two ways to address it. One, we could just simply pass the bylaw portion, which wouldn't require the public hearing, but the zoning bylaw and the zoning bylaw piece could wait till the fall. But instead, it was the opinion of everybody sitting around the table that we probably just wait and do it all at once in the fall, and just hold a public hearing and get it done all at once. So it's not an emergency measure, so therefore it's something that we can.
Yeah, so I thought we'll take no action. To me, it seemed cleaner to wait on it till the fall.
Right.
Than piecemeal it and,
Right.
fix half of them and then have to go. It's extra work for everyone.
Right.
So I think we all want to get this done, but when we looked at the calendar, they need 2 weeks for the public hearing notice, and we're 1 day shy of that. So, this would take no action on this at town meeting, and then planning board would hold the public hearing, for the fall, and everything's ready to go for the fall for this one.
This is one where everybody around the table looked at each other and says, nobody picked up on that. It was just
But
like.
why would
was
it be a
sort of
zoning issue?
Because
Because
it's in the zoning bylaws.
it's located-
They
the
had-
Oh,
wording-
Board of
has to
Selectmen
change.
is in
Exactly.
zoning, so
bylaws
that
as
would,
well.
okay.
Right.
So even though it's a very, very minor change, it does still require that process to be completed. And it's interesting to point out that Pat Costello even noted, he said it's actually happened in a couple of the communities where they did do it, they split it up, but he himself agreed that it's probably just cleaner to do it in one fell swoop.
So that's my recommendation, but I didn't want to make a decision without talking to you guys, so I said, hey, we're meeting tonight, we'll talk about it, see if everyone's under agreement of that way to handle it, push it to the fall.
Much better to push it to the fall
Okay.
than split it up.
Then split it, you good with that? Okay. All right, so we can't take it off the warrant since the warrant's closed, but we'll just take no action on that at town meeting.
And as far as the two articles, they'll probably there'll be other articles too, but I think the ones that being sponsored by the board for marijuana and for billboard, there'll be a brief presentation about that, about marijuana, and then I've given Leah some talking points with respect to, which have been checked by Brownie, if you saw that,
Yeah.
with respect to the billboard issue. So I think we're in pretty good shape with that.
However,
so.
if either of you want to present either of those,
Happy to-
let me know. I didn't want to make an assumption that you wanted to do me, but
No, I mean, if you want to take some of the stress off of you, I'll do one of them.
you want to do the billboard one?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Great, great.
I mean, I've done the marijuana presentation now so many times that
Yeah,
I'm
you-
more than happy to
happy to-
hand the baton off, but I feel like I've done that one.
I'll forward you the talking points
Yeah.
for that.
I
It's,
appreciate that, John.
Yeah, take some of the stress off of you, yeah.
no problem.
And, it is going to be a long town meeting. It is towards the end. We've done a number of these presentations, public hearing on the marijuana. So my thought was it will be kind of a more abbreviated presentation. I think there's 4 key slides that I think are good to set the stage. AdCom's write-up is extremely thorough. Jay did a great job
Yep.
with the write-up on that. So I don't want to replicate what they're saying as well. I want to keep it as concise as possible. And then, we did talk about just printing out a couple of those slides, just so people can have them. There is also a QR code, or you can go to the town's website. There will be an ad in the reporter this Thursday reminding everyone where everything is. So, there's ample opportunity, I think, for everyone to go see the full dog and pony show. And then once we get to town meeting, I think we're able to just condense it just a little bit on that one. And then if anything else comes up on any of the other ones, obviously, think we'll figure out who's best to speak, or, you know, can be me or whatever, so.
So just backtrack to the select board. Will AdCom get up and say,
So they're actually, Paul, the chair of the AdCom, is watching this meeting right now
right.
to wait and see what your vote was, and then they're going to meet, because they've already voted to recommend approval, so now he'll get them to meet before the town meeting, probably just before, and vote no action as well, I would assume.
Yeah, I apologize for Paul not mentioning him, but he was also present at the meeting today, too.
do we have to vote on that today? No
If you're going to take no action, I would recommend you do that.
Okay.
A vote of no action,
On Article 9?
Article 19.
or the implications, just, so that's, instead of doing it at town meeting, we do it here?
Yeah, that we're recommending no action, because I think that one does
So
need a
the-
recommendation going into it.
It would then be reported by AdCom at
Yep.
their meeting.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so why don't we take a motion on that one then for no action on Article 19, Select Board?
Motion to vote no action on Article 19 for the name change of the Board of Selectmen.
And just under discussion, just pushing it to the fall, holding the public hearing that's required, so.
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Okay.
Great.
All right.
Thank
So AdCom recommendations are available now. I see Seth saw my copy right away, and Doug.
Oh, is that yours?
No,
I'm
no,
sorry,
no.
I thought you were passing me one.
And are
Sorry.
those available online? Can people go to the town meeting? All right, so there is, on the homepage, there's a link for everything you could possibly need for town meeting, and those AdCom recommendations, I think, are hot off the press Friday and available there as well as the warrant, the marijuana presentation that we talked about, a couple other things,
Oh,
so.
sorry, Leah, that
Yeah.
presentation that you're giving, is that like a new segment to town meeting? I don't recall the board ever getting up and doing presentations.
I recall quick presentations just to set the stage on other articles, like on zoning ones. I remember Kevin getting up and doing some, but since it is a board of sponsored sponsored article, that's where it would fall just under us to do a quick presentation. I think
okay.
the others don't require it, because like if you look at the door-to-door canvassing and you look at the once you read this, you'll see, I feel like the AdCom kind of covers it enough.
Yeah, right.
But I think the marijuana is just a little bit beefier, and quite honestly, I think it's one of those things that people are either for or against fundamentally.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't want to, at the end of town meeting, get into a long, drawn-out presentation when we've given it so many times, but I do want to make sure that we cover it, you know, just in case someone hasn't tuned in yet, that they do have that, you know, quick baseline understanding.
Okay, got it, thanks.
So it's never actually been, no, I shouldn't say that. It's not usually done by the Board of Selectmen, more zoning and planning.
Yes.
Yeah,
But this is a unique case where, yeah, absolutely, we should discuss it a little bit.
And of course, I did ask Paige, do you want to do this? And she had said that her board preferred that we do it, so I respect that and understand that, so.
oftentimes it seems reactive, so someone will have a question and we'll have planning board come up or zoning or
yep.
something, but in this case, and I probably in the past too, we've been proactive and said, can somebody, you know, can Paige come up and explain this? Okay.
Yep, and sometimes the big screen's down, it's gonna be late at night though, and to stop the meeting and get all the equipment ready, I think just printing out 4 black and white slides, front to back, is just gonna be quicker to move things along, so. So I talked about the warrant Article 19, the marijuana abbreviated presentation, Doc's gonna take the billboard one, the AdCom recommendations are available, and then, just continuing on that, their warrant review meeting is tomorrow at 2 PM in this meeting room. You can come here in person. It is an open public meeting. It will be televised on cable access, and you can watch it by replay as well. So if anyone wants to, you know, just do a little bit more homework before town meeting, there are just a number of different ways you can get yourself ready and educated heading into it.
And Bill, did you go to the seniors too? Or is this going to be the
That's
senior
tomorrow,
one?
yeah.
Senior
Okay.
as well, yeah, they're going to be at this meeting.
So is that a new segment, something that's new?
No.
A meeting, a warrant review meeting for the public?
No, I usually do it on TV prior to town meeting or a special town meeting. and
Cable
then-
access.
And then I also go and meet with the seniors, but this actually timed out perfectly, so I could do both at the same time. So it's just a little bit different in that respect, but it's actually.
Saving him one presentation, but no different than we've done in the past, just
Good,
combining
yeah,
them.
sounds good, thank you.
Once that's on cable access, I'll be able to upload that to the town meeting page.
Perfect, and maybe we can even do a social post just to, you know.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so the next new business is just the town charter discussion. I wanted to tee this up, but I didn't want to get too far into it yet. We're going to have a new member, And Steph's not here, but, you know, Seth had a great idea about looking at the town charter. We haven't looked at it in a long time, and with a new town manager coming, I think it does make sense for us to really review that and look at, you know, what works, what doesn't, what do we need to look at before the new town manager comes on board. We do have time to kick that off, you know, to start really talking about it in May, but just wanted to tee it up.
And not only that, a lot of people are confused, what's the difference between a town charter and the bylaws anyway? And I know we ran into 4 or 5 years ago some issues with the charter versus the bylaws. So I think it's a very good idea to clean it
Probably
up.
overdue.
It's actually in Foxborough, it's referred to as a special act.
Yeah.
So, and I know that some people feel differently about that, but it really is, technically it's the same. It means the same. But I know some
What
people.
means the same?
A special act versus the town charter.
Yeah.
Means the same. But what's interesting about a charter actually speaks to almost everything, whereas this is sort of like a segmented piece of the charter, which is not really it's not a full comprehensive charter, if you will.
It's essentially our Strong Town Manager Act,
Right.
to really
That's right.
summarize it.
Exactly.
And, you know, maybe we'll look at it and there isn't anything that needs to be changed, but it should be looked at every,
Yeah.
you know, every so often. So it's just a
been-
good time to do it as well with the new town manager coming next year.
I would expect that we would think of some things to change, just based on times that have, you know, times have changed and we may think differently, so.
Agree.
The process for doing this is time consuming. It could take longer than when the person gets here. So we gotta be careful about that
Yeah.
too. So you wanna just be mindful of that. But there are things that, if anything, you can maybe get some clarification on some items, which have been, you know, subjects of concern in the past. So,
Clean things up.
yeah, okay.
Okay. So that's all that I had. Do you guys have anything else?
No.
Obviously, election is Monday, town meeting is the 9th. A lot coming up, and we are meeting the day after town meeting as well. But I'm hoping we can keep that one kind of light, and
Currently is.
yes. So we'll have our new member, you know, he'll introduce himself, and, you know, if you can just save the date and time for like 6:30 before town meeting, in case there's anything, you know, that we need to
We-
discuss.
Usually it's
We
7.
always,
7, sorry, I'm thinking it's a 7 o'clock meeting, it's 7:30, so 7 PM for a posted meeting for that, just in case there's anything we need to talk about quick. Okay, so with that, I think we're ready for action items.
Motion to accept a $1,500 donation from the Friends of Foxborough Seniors for the June Senior Olympics.
second.
All right, under further discussion, I think this is one of the favorite events, so I think we're all excited to see this, so grateful for the donation. All those in favor?
Aye.
And then we're gonna take no action on this 8.2, so, we'll review and approve the 3:15 meeting minutes at our next meeting. Anything else before town meeting, or anything that you got, Bill? Good?
I'm good.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
all those in favor?
Thanks,
We
everyone.
tied.
We did, exactly.
We tied.
To the minutes.
That's pretty good, though. It's still pretty good.
I'm good, I'm all set.
Are you sure? Because I don't need that very copy. I just thought I